Peace, family. It's your brother B Knowledge Allah, and you know we back with the B Knowledge Academy, Black Family Education. Today I got something special for y'all. We built it on polygyny. Again, the polygamy videos went crazy, had a lot of love, I mean dozens of DMs, so that was definitely love. And brothers are interested in moving forward. I got you to think on different aspects of polygamy. Now I'm going to go specifically into polygyny and how it should be done, right? So we're going to talk about polygyny and courting today. So I have a special presentation, like I said, on polygyny and courting. So B Knowledge Academy, Black Family Education, let's go, polygyny and courting. So what is polygyny, right? You see, polygyny is a husband with multiple wives, period. A man with multiple wives, multiple commitments, right? That's what I said, wives or concubines. Because a concubine, right? Because we're speaking Black family education, we have to introduce certain jargon, certain terminology, right? Into the family structure, because that's what molds the family structure. Because if there's a specific terminology set, right? Like courting, like concubine, wife, we know and understand standards and expectations in relationship. And when you have standards and expectations, you go far, right? Again, polygyny, husband with multiple wives and concubines. And simply put, a concubine is any sexual partner or non-platonic relationship, right? Besides your wife. Committed consorts, you understand? So any woman you're committed to in any type of way, usually there's involvement sexually. However, it's any type of non-platonic, right, commitment that's not necessarily at the degree of your wife. So to explain even further, polygyny, right, husbands with multiple wives, because most people are on the poly trend, right? Most women that accept polygyny or want to accept polygamy, they really accept the more general polygamy, the throuple thing, the triad thing, right? The closing off brothers, right? And really women being more in control of the terms and conditions, right? So they can maintain a relationship between the women as well. So that's not what I'm on. Again, polygyny is a husband with multiple wives. Polygamy is multiple spouses, right? Or wives, simple, or husbands, right? It's multiple spouses, period. Polygamy. So people get into poly or polygamy, which is trending, and specifically you'll see polyamory, which is multiple partners, right? And they all have consent. Basically, an open relationship, multiple partners with consent of all parties, more or less an open relationship. So you have the signs where you'll basically have 3, 4, 5 people, right? Usually several women and a man still, usually, right? However, there's trending as well where there's several women and men mixed up. But different terms and conditions, they have their relationship and it's pretty much open or set to a certain standard of agreement of how open it is, right? That's poly, a lot of people refer to. That's what these women, for the most part, that are trending online, right? Or not these women, but the relationships that are trending online, they're really referring to polyamory or polyandry, a woman with more than one husband, right? When women are talking about, oh, I'm down with poly, I'm down with polygamy, I'm down with poly, for the most part, they're saying, hey, I understand you may have another wife, but that really just means I'm gonna have more than one husband. So it's not just an open thing. He may just have her, or he may aspire to have more than one wife, or he may have wives, but she's coming in thinking, oh, poly, I'm gonna have more than one husband too. So there's a difference. Polyamory is several spouses in many different shapes and forms. I'm talking what is polygyny, right? A husband with multiple wives. We're talking polygyny and courting, right? So when we say marriage, just so we be clear, we're talking about the highest level of committed heterosexual union. We're talking about the union between a man and a woman, between a man and women. That's what we're talking about right now. That's what marriage is. I'm not getting into any government contractual shit, any religious rites or ceremonies, or any type of necessary binding contracts. I'm not getting into all that right now. We're just talking about courting, right? Polygyny and courting. So to understand, the goal of courting is marriage. And to understand what we talk about, it's simple. However you go about your marriage, whether it's under some said government, or whether it's your private contract, or whether it's a verbal agreement, whether it's a cultural right, you understand? It's the highest level of committed heterosexual union is what I'm talking about here. Polygyny. So, because in polygyny, right, there's no dating and stuff. It's based on marriage and courtship. So marriage, again, in polygyny is the highest level of committed heterosexual union, man and woman. So courting versus dating, right? You may think, why? What do you mean polygyny and courting? I'm dating women. I'm anti-dating, brothers. Sorry to tell you. I'm anti-dating because it promotes male concubinage. You want to understand what black male concubinage is? Go to my last videos on the black male concubinage. I did several parts on it. And while I say that, subscribe, like, share, and we go continue with polygyny and courting. So courting versus dating. Dating, right, like it said here, is more so meeting socially with intention of building a relationship. So you see a girl, you ask her out, you know what I'm saying? You go out with her, right? A date should be the most to just get your point across, right? Or talk about courting. But dating, I'm anti-dating. You understand? Because it promotes, like I said, male concubinage, which if you look into my other videos, you'll see. And what it also does is it leaves women without a covering. It allows them to hop place to place, right? With this whole dating thing that's in pop culture. It allows them to have no commitment. We're going to get into it. Dating, meeting socially with intention of building a relationship. So I like you. Yeah, I have the intent to maybe see if something happened. Yeah, I have the intent to say, oh, okay, maybe we can get something out of this. And I'm being nice because really it's mostly just sexual and it's mostly just very materialistic and based on buying shit and seeing if you have a vibe based on that. So dating, we understand how the average person comes into a relationship, right? They dive into sex or just socially dealing with each other, whether it's on social media or any type of social equality, like the fucking bowling alley, you know, to the movies or whatever. You know, they call it old nowadays. Dating versus courting. Now we talking polygyny and courting, right? See, law school in Mecca, we talking about polygyny and courting. So when it comes to courting, courting is building a relationship with the intention of marriage. It's not socially meeting up with the intention of building a relationship. It's building a relationship with the intention of marriage. So you're already in a relationship with this woman in the courting process. The relationship, right, is her as one of your consorts and you as hers, right? And in a courting stage of that. Because courting is a relationship building towards marriage. The simple difference is dating is like, I'm gonna see if I want to deal with you. Courting is we establish that we can do something, so let's get there. You understand? That's the difference. We're gonna get more into it about the let's get there. See, dating is non-contractual, courting is contractual, whether written or verbal. So when it comes to dating, it's just, oh, if I see you, I may not see you again. You understand? If I you know, go on a couple dates with you, I may decide I like her better or him better. You understand? Dating non-contractual meaning usually, right? There's no contract or there's no agreement between the people on what the dating is going to be. There's never any, we're going to go on this many, that and the third dates, right? To establish something. As opposed to courting, right? Which is contractual because it's an agreement with the woman that we are establishing, right, a path to marriage. We are establishing a road to marriage as opposed to we're just seeing each other, right? Because you got to protect women. See, polygyny is women's rights because if you got a woman at home, what you think is going to go down in your home or how you think she's going to feel or what you think is going to be told to your children about polygyny, what you think is going to be the turmoil that's going to be caused in the home if you just out dating because you could be polygynous. You think you could just date. So now, unwanted pregnancies, abortions, right? You end up fathering children outside the home, all these type of things because of the non-contractual dating. Courting is saying, whether written or verbal, right? The difference is we're going to build for 3 months. We're going to talk for 3 months, right? And establish the pros and cons of our lifestyles, you understand? How you can fit into my lifestyle, right? How I can help you advance your life. It's contractual. We're going to talk about if we marry or when we marry, right? this needs to be established in a certain amount of time instead of just dating spot to spot and picking up random things. So the contract is actually that term of agreement of space and time. We're going to take 3 months. We're going to take 5 months. We're going to take 6 months, right? In the initial stage or the first stage of courting to decide, okay, this is how we moving forward because we already got this out the way. So the what? Path is smoother. And you lighten the what? Load. Brighten the road. Understand? It's about dating is generally non-committed. Courting is committed. Meaning, like I said before, when you're dating, you could just drop them, right? Of course, you can break a contract. However, generally, courting is 100% committed, which means we're talking polygyny in courting, right? We're not talking monogamy, we're talking polygyny in courting. So the commitment needs to happen because, again, you have a woman at home, or if you don't have a woman at home and this is your first wife, right? Or if you have women at home, maybe, or if you don't have a woman at all, possibly, and this is your first wife, but you're a polygynous man, right? Then the commitment is based on showing her how to proceed in the future. It's based off showing her just because she's first in line don't mean she could test the waters or nothing like that. You understand? There's no difference in your procedure as a man, as your code of ethics as a man. You understand? Dating is generally non-committed. Courting is committed because it shows, right? We're not going to be messing around while we're seeing each other. And I'm not even talking sexually. But we're not going to be messing around with multiple people, spending energy in multiple places. Like I say, you're talking polygyny. So the commitment versus the dating is typically, especially in the Black community, when you're dating a woman, there's no commitment of her to you. She can date who she want, DM who she want, especially talking modern times, social media. There's no commitment in dating. With courting, the commitment is clear your DM. We go take these contractual 3 months to what? Clear your DM. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking modern for my young brothers. We're talking clearing the air, you know what I'm saying, with ex relationships, if there's still some type of involvement because of financial ties, you understand, because of debt, anything like that. This is all in the courting. So later on, it's like not like, oh, we've been dating. Now I want to be together. So I have to handle X, Y, and Z. No. In the commitment of the courting is cutting ties with anything that would interfere with your relationship. Cutting ties with anything that would block the future progression of your relationship. Again, now dating generally is option oriented versus courting is goal oriented. Dating is option oriented. It's called dating. People know when you dating, that means you're seeing a guy on and off because you have the option to. You're seeing multiple people. You're single. It's the single life. It's dating because it's single. It's dating because it's option. I'm single and I have the option to see X, Y, and Z. I have the option to be intimate as I want with X, Y, and Z. I have the option to share my mind and my emotions and my personal space, right, with X, Y, and Z because I'm single and I'm dating. That's option oriented. Goal oriented is when what? You have a goal to marry. You already have a contract. You already have a commitment. So the goal is to marry already. Brothers, stop playing around. We need to stop playing this dating, platonic relationship, male concubine and shit. Stop being a male concubine, dealing with these women that don't want a commitment, dealing with these women that don't want a what? Option-oriented versus goal-oriented only means covering versus non-covering. When he's an option for you, you an option for him, and that means that he's not obligated to cover you in any type of way. Not obligated to help you out. And I'm not even talking about just financially. I'm talking about with his mind and time and space. I'm talking about with his purest and his most valuable research source, which is his life force. Again, when dating is option oriented, meaning both the man and the woman are not committed to giving their 100%, right, to the fullest of their capability, life force energy, which is their most valuable resource to you. When it's goal oriented, it's you got to give your life, right, resources, your life energy, which is your most valuable resource, that you got to now direct that towards the relationship. Vetting and courting, right? I mentioned vetting. I said I would do a side piece on this. Vetting is just making careful and critical examination of something, right? In this case, someone. or the something may be her credentials, her history, her past. Like I said, brothers, it's up to you to not only show to her what a man is and how he conducts the protection of his family, because like I said, if she your first woman, all it's doing is showing her how you go proceed and giving her security, right? And giving her confidence in how you'll proceed. So it's no what? Lacking. Make careful and critical examination of something is the vetting court process, and I'm going to get into this. Investigate someone thoroughly, especially in order to ensure that they are suitable for a job requiring secrecy, loyalty, or trustworthiness. We know family is business. We know family is what builds nations. We know family, right, which is mimicked in the animal world, in the plant kingdom, and in the universal celestial bodies, right? Family, the key to that is that secrecy, loyalty, and trustworthiness. Because the family is the real secret society when you do it right. You understand? That's the what? Real root to the rule of the world, the family, because families rule the planet. So that gets into questionnaires, right? You have to have questions ready. Don't act like back in the day, you know, when you was little and you played those games about what you like and how you like and all this type of stuff, you know, with the old dating regimen that was given to us, you know, and the old boyfriend girlfriend regimen that was given to us. The vetting, right, the investigation, you should already have in your man a set of questions. You should already have as a man a set of process of questions, right, if not already written out as a questionnaire, of questions in your mind that every woman, right, or any woman that you're courting has to answer or should answer. General things so you don't forget or skip over, so you don't get caught up in the moment. So questions, questionnaires, right? Have that as far as the vetting process. Medical history, right? Extensive medical history of the parents, right? Of the grandparents, of siblings. You understand? And it's not, oh no, oh, what you eat last summer. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking an investigation of a questionnaire of general information we have the right to know as someone who I want to spend the rest of my life with. Self-criticism. Part of the vetting process is self-criticism. You want her to be able to criticize self. Ask her what are her flaws, what are the things she lacks on, that she needs to pick up on. Show her your self-criticism and the ways you've advanced yourself as a man over time so she can see your progress that she didn't get to see. And show her the criticisms you have now of yourself and what you need to increase and do better. You understand? Because what? It gives the open dialogue and it teaches her to follow when you take the lead in the self-criticism. So self-criticism, very important that she has self-criticism. And if she doesn't have that, you teach her that and help her get into that. What are your flaws? What are some of the things you could pick up or do better? Where are you comfortable or too comfortable in life that you end up lacking? You understand? And social media, that goes back to the DM thing. That social media be the devil in relationships a lot of time. So use it for what it is, which is social media, which is news, keeping in touch with family. You understand? Keeping in touch with modern advertisement, business, and world events. You know, not for gossip, slander. You know, not for being envious, not for being nosy. You understand? Use it for what it is. So if she's the average, you know what I'm saying, Black woman in today's day and time, you know, hopefully she'll have some civilization to her and venturing on social media. But you might need to guide her towards some of the, knowing she may not realize some of the things that she's doing or adding on to the bullshit in our community, reposting certain things, liking certain things. It's still the advocation of what? Anti-family. So social media, again, you want to make her comfortable with ignoring friend requests. You want to make her comfortable with not having platonic relationships. That's easy to say in person, maybe easy to say at work. But platonic relationships, again, go back to my male concubines videos, shouldn't be had on social media. Everyone has people they know on social media. It's 2020. So there should be no platonic relationships on social media. That guy that's always, especially in her single stages, right? Always liking stuff back and forth, all that picture liking and shit. Social media, right? In the vetting process is important. Know what social media she has. Know her email, stuff like that. You know, it's important basic contact information that you would know about her later. Anyway, encourage asking questions. You want her to ask you questions. You know, I see myself as a leader. You know, I'm an alpha male, so I'm in charge of vetting. However, in being a proper leader and a responsible leader, right? Not a dictator, I encourage questions. So I encourage you to ask the same. So much is given, much is required, right? So personal history, just examples. I said actually get to know her. Just examples of that vetting. Actually get to know her. Health and diet, excuse me, and that ties into hygiene. So her health and her diet, which ties into her personal hygiene as a woman. You know what I'm saying? You see people overstep. This is why vetting is important. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I mean courting, polygyny and courting is important, because in dating, you may observe health, diet, you understand? But in contractual, right, in committed courting, you more so build on what food is accepted in your house, right? What food she already accepts and rejects. You build on diet because you have a certain culture that usually involves certain holidays, certain fasting, and all that. She has to what? Get privy to this instead of just in dating. It's more observant. Like, oh, okay, I know he does this. He fasts a lot. They eat a lot of fruit. You know what I'm saying? They eat a lot of lamb, whatever. Courting is, oh, we eat this because of this, you know. Courting is we fast on this day because of this, and you should learn why. If you're going to be my wife, learn the significance or the introduction to the significance of these rituals. Hygiene, know and understand it's as important as her health and diet, what she uses it as feminine products. You understand? What's her opinion? And a way to get this, because you don't have to be outright nosy. If a woman feels that's personal, that's the difference between dating and courting. Dating says that's none of your business. Courting says I need to know. So then when we get married, when you're in my bathroom with some bullshit, it's not a problem. You need to understand dating is that's none of your business. Courting is transitional into making this doable. You understand? Relationships and sex history. A lot of people say nowadays, oh, it's not about how many a woman been with or who a woman been with. All of that counts, man. And I'll go into this in different videos because, of course, it's levels to this shit. You know, like Mika said. So we understand a woman's history, right? It's levels to who, what, when, where, and why. Especially if she was in the dead world or lack of knowledge herself, or isn't cultured, right, in something like this, or isn't cultured in Black family education like we're presenting now. So relationships and sex history, right? You want to know relationship history because you want to know what she's been through. It's simple as that. It's not just, again, dating, sitting down, talking about your ex, and then when you get married, you see in the movies all the time, end up finding an ex here or seeing an ex here, and it has something that is very significant to do with who she is today. In the courting process, you would understand if a man made a certain impact on her life. Family or cultural, right, or religious and political influence. That's very important. You want to know about her family. This is all, again, the vetting in the personal history. You want to know about her family and cultural ties. What culture does she come from? What is in the general population of where she was raised, right? What culture is there? What religion is influence are there? Her family, her father and mother, what political ties do they have, if any? You understand? Are they involved or politically conscious at all? You understand? What is their religious background? What is their conversion background? They might have been one thing just 2 generations ago and are new in some type of new consciousness now. They may have been one thing holding it down for 20 generations. Understand all this, especially if she doesn't come from your particular culture. Personal interest and likes, very important. You want to know what a woman likes. That mostly comes, brothers, from paying attention, doing the knowledge. You'll see through trends, again, through the vetting on the social media, you'll see what she's into. Personal interests and likes are easy to talk about. I encourage, again, like I said, her questions, her talking. Encourage her to talk about what she loves. You see that one thing she always talk about, as long as it ain't rooted in falsehood and you're teaching her out of that, right? You encourage her to talk about those likes and interests, right? Which usually fall into her skills, trades, and expertise. A woman has, whether she realizes it or not, I'm not talking no American education shit on skills, trades, and expertise, even though that all has to do with it. What skills did you get naturally being raised? What skills did you gain naturally from your mother? What personal interest do you have that turned into a niche or a skill? You understand? General education. You understand? Depending where she's from, did she go through the general education system? Was she privately schooled, homeschooled? You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. All in the vetting, things to know. Like I said, dating, these conversations come up at the date. These conversations come up after that premature sex. You know what I'm saying? And it's only premature when it's non-committed. I'll say that. After that premature sex. So you have to get all these things, because when it's sporadic, right? Of course, sometimes it works in the long run. However, generally, the sporadic dating scene is what is due to, or what causes broken homes. You understand? We know this. I ain't got to get into that. You want to know her residential and travel history. Where's she been? Where's she been in the States? Where's she been in her state? You understand? Where's she been in the country? If she's from out the country, has she, residential history, because you understand her cultural influence still. Why did you move? You understand? All that has a play. Short and long-term goals. I put that last because it's probably one of the most important. What are her goals in life? Is it just to sit up under you? What does she want? What is her goals? Short-term goals, or what do you want to accomplish in courting, right? In marriage, short-term goals, because we're not wasting time, right? Long-term goals in our marriage, in our life together. What do you want to accomplish in 3 to 5 years, right? 2 to 3 years. What do you want to accomplish in 10 years? Simple stuff, brothers. Peep game, please. Communication and courting. Now, I'll put these 3 subjects real simple to understand. Communication and courting between wives. So you have wives at home, right? Or you have wives and concubines, or you have wives, right, and women you court, or basically wives and wives and wives and concubines, right? The communication between them during your courting is very important, because they have to be on board, right? You want to make sure that they understand who's coming in, why she's coming in. You understand? You want to make sure that they or she understands what's going on, and you're always on the same page, so there's no disruption or hard times in home, right? So that there's no blockages, right, at home. So the communication between the wives, or between you and your wife during the courting, is very important. Like I said, it's not up to them to be nosy. It's not for them to be investigating, right, the status, every level of it to your courting. It's not up to them for that. The science of the communication between the wives is so they're strong and confident in the same process that they went through, right? So they're encouraging to you and each other through the same process, right? So they're making a healthy, comfortable, right, transition for the wife coming in on their part, right, and on your part. Between current wife, or communication and courting between the current wife and the potential wife. So your current wife, right, or wives, and the potential wife, which is a woman or women you're courting, I suggest one at a time for the record. That's just me though. You court as many women as you want. But when we're talking about courting, my personal advice and suggestion, right, is to court one at a time. Only because we're already switching out of the dating courting scene. So obviously, if she comes from a cultured way and she comes from a polygynous family, that's different. You understand? That's basically instant, because it's already understood. However, I suggest when it comes to when I'm presenting the brothers, introducing polygyny to themselves, court one at a time to you in the game, between current wife and potential wife, the communication and the courting. So you want to make sure that they have good communication. See, a lot of times you introduce them, which I'll get into, and a lot of times she introduced you to her. You know what I'm saying? So between the current wife and potential wife, you want to make sure they have good communication when they're already communicating. Whenever that comes, you want to make sure they have good communication. You want to make sure that you want to make sure that everything that y'all deal with, or everything that they deal with between each other, is in honesty and love. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure they understand sisterhood. You want to make sure their priority is to build comfortability in their relationship with each other. You know what I'm saying? To whatever extent it may be, in, outside your residence, you getting a new residence or second residence, whatever the case may be. So between your current wife and potential wife, you know what I'm saying? You want to make sure the communication isn't bound. However, it's not outside of your confidentiality with them. You understand? So you want to make sure there is communication between you and your wife, or your current wives, right, when courting. when it's serious, right? You want it because courting is serious. You want to make sure between your current wife or wives and the incoming, right, or potential wife, there's good communication. And you want to make sure, like I already said, between you and the current wife or wives. So confidentiality in courting, right? Keep people out your business. Who you courting is your business. Again, who is your business? People may know you courting. They may realize you courting. It's none of their business unless you want it to be. You understand? Keep people out your business. Protect your house in honor of the potential wife. So you protect your wives because you don't need people knowing, oh, he always courting this, or he always courting here, or he's never courting. You know what I'm saying? You don't need that aspect of your life and people's involvement that people involved in that aspect of your life. Protecting your house means that who is your business, because you protect the reputation and the honor of your house, because there's things that may be discovered in courting. There may be things that are discovered after courting, you understand, that after the ending of courting, when she doesn't marry you, that may have been detrimental to your house. If you was to just be letting everyone know, oh, I'm dealing with her before courting her and going through vetting. You may bring dishonor to your home because this woman was on some BS for years, months, and days, or this woman has certain character flaws that are inevitable when it comes to her, right? This woman has caused destruction everywhere she went, and you ain't realize it till a couple weeks in the vetting and courting, you understand, and getting to know each other, as y'all say. So protect your house and the honor of a potential wife. It's the same, right? So you want to protect a woman's business. It's not everyone's business, especially in today's world, that she's courting a married man, that she's courting a polygynous man, especially if she don't come from a polygynous family. Part of the courting process is meeting and telling, explaining to her family or her father at minimum. That's really all you need to bear witness to, you know? So protecting her honor. Don't put her on Front Street. It's not everyone's business. Oh, you dealing with him and he got all these women, or you dealing with him and he got a woman? It's none of nobody's business. So you're protecting her honor of your potential wife, whether she's going to be your wife or whether she doesn't end up being your wife. As a man and being responsible and ahead, you protect the honor of all women. So when to tell your wife or wives? I put first, usually they'll notice already, because that's just a fact. Usually they're already going to notice. Women will notice you extra texting or extra on the phone or extra out or anything like that. Just like they would suspect so-called cheating, you understand? Usually they will notice when it comes to when to tell. So it's going to be questioned, or it's going to be in the atmosphere. So if it's that serious or it's something noticeable, right? Listen, because if it's noticeable, then that means it's going somewhere. So it needs to be said, right? The best time to introduce somebody is when courting is officially established. Like I said, all right, we're courting. I ain't just see you, at the drink machine a couple times. I didn't just, walk past you on the way to work. You know what I'm saying? Or if we work in the same area, whatever the case may be. It's not like that. It's okay. Maybe we chopped it up once or twice. Maybe we chopped it up 2-3 times. And that chopping it up is what introduced and gave way to the courting. So like I said, that's the officially established. The best time to introduce somebody is when courting is officially established or almost immediately after. Keeping in mind anti-male concubine and anti-platonic behavior. You understand? So again, anti-male concubine and anti-platonic behavior. Again, go back to my male concubine videos and you'll see what being a male concubine is, which is what you don't want to do, and we understand what platonic relationships are. So anti-platonic behavior is a man who ain't friendly with everybody, a man who ain't walking around in every woman's face. So keeping in mind, you ain't in everyone's face. You got the anti-platonic behavior. You ain't got a whole bunch of lady friends. It don't work like that. That should be kept in mind, right, when introducing someone you're courting, because it's not, what something that'll turn into serial polygyny, or you running around courting woman after woman after woman after woman after woman. You understand? So keeping in mind the anti-male concubine, anti-platonic behavior. If the marriage is arranged, I suggest the same. Meaning, if it comes from another family, I suggest the same. If the marriage or the relationship introduction comes from outside your home, like a close family or a close family friend who introduces y'all, that's different, you know, because it would most likely already be arranged at the same time, same basis. You understand? So, like I said, if the marriage is arranged, that's more so jumping right in the courtroom. So it's really immediate, right? As far as when your wife should know. If your potential wife is introduced, right, or was introduced by a current wife, this doesn't apply. And the next line of communication to your current wife, considering their relationship, should be an update on your courting status. So if your wife introduced you to her, or your wives introduced you to her, right, the next step in you letting them know should be, all right, yeah, we're going to be courting. Simple as that. Because a lot of times you get introduced by your woman. So we're speaking, right, confidentiality, right, versus detrimental information. You understand? Because here's the confidentiality in courting. We understand you want to keep people out your business, right? You want to protect her honor and the honor of your house. However, when the wives are talking and they're getting to know each other, right, where's the line between what stays confidential and at what point should your wife or wives break confidentiality? So on this side, we have the girl talk. Of course, that's confidential. Her little girl talk history, real niggas ain't into all that, right? Her venting about family, the past, you understand? What's going on between y'all? Dudes ain't into all that. That's confidential. The raw feelings, which involves the venting, that stays confidential. You want women to have a sisterhood where they trust each other. You don't want any type of bullshit just going around in your house because you like a girl, as they say, you know, involved with the letting women come back to you, tell this, that, and the third, and putting them against each other, and they putting you. Listen, the girl talk, the venting, the feeling, the woman emotions between each other, that sisterhood bond, that's always confidential. You never want to break that. They're general conversations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? ETC. This is all confidential. You want the woman's sisterhood to be strong and between each other. Because if you're all one, then it'll be a unit anyway. So you don't have to worry about them hiding anything. But we're talking about in courting, polygyny and courting. So at what point should your wife break confidentiality, right? The first thing your wife, meaning if she do the girl talk, through the venting, through the raw feelings, there's a big red flag, like a big red flag. You know, something that she would definitely not make the cut for. You know what I'm saying? What they call a deal breaker. You understand? The first thing you should do, or your wife should do, you should teach your wife to do, is go to her first, right? The first thing your wife should do is encourage her potential co-wife to let you know herself. If there's something that's shaky that she feel you might need to know, or she says some crazy shit, you know, about whatever in the confidentiality of the two of you, girl, you should tell him. Girl, I think you should let him know. You should talk to him about that. I ain't gonna say nothing. That should be the first step. If not, and not until then, should she suggest you investigate. You're still not, of course you want your woman to ride, but in the confidence of their sisterhood, you're not encouraging snitching on basic girly shit, even in the early stages of courting. You know what I'm saying? That's some girl shit. So what you do want to encourage is what? The red flags, the deal breakers, you know, stuff that's detrimental to the family, detrimental information to the family unit. That's what you would encourage her to tell, and then her trusting your leadership and responsibility, you would move forward on it, right, during the courting, or her, right, suggesting you investigate it. So it's not even an outright, she did this. It's more so, ask her about this. You understand? Of course, in the last stages, we understand we grown. If it's something that needs to be told, just tell. But what I'm suggesting to brothers, right, this is what stays confidential. And the only thing that women should be going back telling you about, other than just, you know, general good stuff, talk, you know, tell her yourself first, and then she should investigate. So polygyny, even courting, right? More to consider. Conversion. The fact of changing one's cultural or religious beliefs, or the action of persuading someone else to change theirs. You always have to think about, if she comes from, like in my instance, right? We talk about the 85% world. She come from the dead world. She don't have knowledge herself. You have to consider converting her mind. You have to consider what? Converting her out of religion. You have to consider, right, what they call in the masses called religious conversion, right? However, to be particular, like I said, with me, I'll make it personal. I'm a 5%er. So it's more the conversion there out of, you know what I'm saying? So the fact of, right, when it comes to someone's cultural or religious beliefs, you have to consider conversion. During the courting process, is she willing to have same cultural views as you? Does she have them already? What are the similarities between your cultural views already? You always consider conversion, because at the end of the day, and with me in particular, being that culture is the foundation of my lifestyle, it's how you live, right? My culture in particular, you want to make sure she's going to be able to pass that on to your children and have that in common with your other wives. Some religions teach you could have wives from different, you know what I'm saying, all kind of shit. I ain't into all that. I'm teaching Black family education, polygyny and courting for the Black man in America. The Black man is God. Listen, the conversion is out of the religious belief. You understand? Into what? Or out of whatever cultural ways she has now. You either advance upon that, or if it's one and the same with yours, maintain it. So you also want to consider children and what? Children's extended family. So if she already has children, what you consider in courting before the marriage. So usually people date, again, why dating is bad. You may be dating someone and just decide to be one. Or you dating someone for a while, now we're going to move in. In courting, in the commitment, in the contract, you understand this is what's going to be done with your children. This is what is going to be raised with the children. You know what I'm saying? This is what's going to be communicated with the children, right? And the children's extended family. Because they have a father who you have to respect and honor as a man, and who you have to put his wishes for his children first, because they're his children. So this is the things you have to discuss with your potential wife. In courting, it's already decided, yo, she has a baby with this dude, right? And in moving forward, what is the relationship between you and this dude going to be? I'll get into that in another video. But an example, if there's a situation with, I'll just keep it very basic, mutual custody. Say they both got half the time. I'll make it real simple for us. When it comes to the transitioning or the exchange between the children, summers, school year, whatever the case may be, holidays, you understand, weekends, weekday, that should be man to man. Things to consider when dealing with a woman with children, right? And that children's extended family. What is the relationship, or what is the impact of that child's, right, father and y'all now relationship? That child's father's family and your relationship through his seed. If she's a single mother, what do you expect, right, her to value and understand in the children now coming in your house? In the courting, what is the relationship now between you and her children if she's a single mother? She's a single mother, what is now the relationship between, because you don't want to be a male concubine, like I said, between the provisions you give her children, right, versus what their father gives them. All this has to be calculated, right? One more thing to consider, good advice from brothers, strong polygynous brothers, right, around you, in your peer group, and older elders. Good, strong advice. Always consider good advice, especially in the final stages of courting. Y'all, I've been courting so-and-so, I'm thinking about boom, boom, boom. Get your advice from your brothers after you already have all the courting, general courting things outlined, because good advice is dependent on mutual respect. So if you already have a mutual respect, a mutual culture, the other brothers in your cipher, in your community, they already understand what's valued and what's yay and nay in courting. So how to start? If courting isn't her cultural norm, right, then introduce the difference between dating and pop culture and traditional cultural courting. Build this video, break it down to her now. You ain't got to show her the video, but, you know, because she might try to court me. But what you want to do is, hey, let her know, okay, this is courting. We're not dating. We're not seeing each other. You want to marry me? This is what we're doing. Again, if courting isn't her cultural norm, then introduce the difference between dating and pop culture and traditional cultural courting. How to start? How to start? Establish the courting terms and court towards marriage terms. So you establish the term. That's how you start. We go do this for 3 months, this for 3 months, this for 3 months. After a year, boom. After 9, 10 months, boom. Depending on your situation, the next step, the courting terms, right, are usually establishing residency, you know, establishing everything we talked about. So when it comes to the courting terms, again, part of the courting is working towards the marriage terms. So now you have to work towards the residential situation. You understand? And things like that. Intimacy, right? That's the courting terms. The provisions, you know, depending how long, right, your courting is, because if you're bringing a woman in a covering, right, a degree of covering, so she's not out there in the world single, so she's not out there in the world just deprived of manly guidance, right? And especially in the latter stages of courting, you'll be being more of this for her. You understand? Establishing the courting terms, right? Part of that is taking months to work on the marriage terms, right? So where we'll be, like I said, where we'll be married, where we'll live. The courting terms consist of what you're responsible for mentally, physically, spiritually, if any, you know what I'm saying, during the courting. What provisions, what intimacy, you know, especially in the latter stages of courting, you court a woman 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, especially in today's day of culture, things get intimate. You know, if you want to keep it real, most polygyny channels will act like it don't. You know, but I'll be the one to say, you know, and I'm not even talking about my case, but it, many things do. So are those in the courting terms? Intimacy versus non-intimacy. We're not gonna smash, we're not gonna fuck for a year. We're gonna really do this courting for a year and then get to it. Or yes, we need to get some tests done so we make sure you good. I'll get a test done just to show and prove the honor of my wives, right? And my, you know, and myself. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or afterwards, you know, in the courting terms, right? Whether you're working towards, and like I said, that really works more towards concubinage, but that may be in the courting terms. Concubinage may be in the courting terms. Another thing I ain't bring up, that might be in the courting terms. Okay, we're gonna deal sexually, right? We're gonna deal half on the rent, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. Working towards this first year lease, you know, modern, realistic things, into being one, into marrying, right? Once courting is established, arrange to meet her house, which is her father and family. Arrange to meet her house. What's your dad's perspective on polygyny? What's your dad's cultural and political views? Get to know who he is, and then establish a meeting with him. And really, he'll either initially or eventually introduce you to the family. That's important. I left that last, so it's on the mind. The father, respect the father. We say the original man is the maker, owner, cream of the planet Earth, father of civilization, the God of the universe. You're the maker of the earth, right? And the black woman is the earth because you're the maker of your daughter. You got to respect her father as her what? Head, her God, right? In the transition to you being her head. So how to start? What? Once courting is established, it's official, arrange in some time. This is part of the courting terms. After 3 months, after 6 months, right? Arrange in the terms. I'm going to meet your father and household. What to look forward to? How to introduce polygyny to my wife. Bride price and dowry. Bride price and dowry. A lot of things brothers get confused on. So I'm going to break down the difference. But we in there. Polygyny, courting. I gave y'all it. Please take heed. Go back. Do the knowledge. Look forward to how to introduce polygyny and the bride price and dowry. Check me on social media. Please subscribe to my YouTube. Like, share this video. Hit my Twitter, hit my Instagram, right? And you find me on B Knowledge Academy, anywhere pretty much. God Be Knowledge, right, on Twitter. You want to donate? You see, I got Mike now, no like, stuff like that. You want to donate? Cash App, Patreon, PayPal. And besides that, thanks, you know, for tuning in. Keep the love. Send any comments you have. Let me know. And we're in there.